Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. 1981 is regarded by many reggae fans as a bad year, as it was when the genre's king, Bob Marley, would pass away, leaving a heavy pall of sadness over reggae's global community. The future of the music looked very bleak, but in what turned out to be a spectacular turnaround, in the same month that the Tough Gong passed away, the trio of Black Uhuru unleashed their seminal masterpiece in Red, a body of work that not only represented the cutting edge of contemporary reggae sound at the beginning of the 80s, but also contained hard-hitting lyrics that resonated with current world events at the time and the worldview of young people everywhere. The impact of that album was heavily felt in popular culture, like very few reggae releases have ever done. The first time many non-reggae fans heard a song from that album was on an episode of The Cosby Show from 1986. In a hilarious scene, Bill Cosby's character is trying to enjoy a quiet day with his newspaper while his daughter and her boyfriend are singing along noisily to the song Spongy Reggae. The Red Album was a perfect storm that fused the irresistible vocals of Michael Rose, Puma Jones, and Ducky Simpson with the legendary Sly and Robbie in sizzling form. At a time when the reggae scene was in desperate need of an injection of energy in the immediate post-Bob Marley era, that album would shine with unreal musical intensity and political fervor of the Rastafarian movement and raise the bar for that genre for all time. Let's take a look at why Black Uhuru's Red Album is considered by many music historians and critics as the peak of the roots reggae golden era. Now, to begin with, the year 1980 saw the release of the second album by what was the third incarnation of Black Uhuru in Michael Rose, Puma Jones, and Ducky Simpson. That album, named Sinsemilla, was undoubtedly the best reggae album of that year. It was their first as artists under the stable of Island Records and was fully powered by Sly and Robbie, who had by then parted ways with Peter Tosh after 4 years as the very core of the Stepping Razors backing band Word Sound and Power, and they were now free to focus all their energy on Black Uhuru. Sinsemilla was a critical smash and featured incredible songs like Vampire, Push Push, and the iconic Herb anthem and title track, Sinsemilla. The reggae world was stunned at its brilliance, and Island boss Chris Blackwell was particularly impressed and excited for the future. After its release, he immediately commissioned work to start for a follow-up album that would come out the next year of 1981. Sly and Robbie, as producers, swung into action and began to assemble the session musicians that would put the beats together. That elite lineup included instrumentalists that they had been working with frequently in that period, like Mikey Chung, Uzziah Sticky Thompson, Barry Reynolds, and Keith Sterling. As for the singers, Puma Jones had done very little on the Sinsemilla album, as she had just had a baby and was nursing him during the production, but she was now available to join her comrades Michael and Ducky in the studio. For the sessions, Sly and Robbie chose the legendary Channel 1 studios, then the hottest musical lab in Jamaica that produced the robust sound that would match their vision. The first track they recorded, and the one that became the first on the album, was The Amazing Youths of Eglinton. This track, written by Michael Rose, set the album's militant tone and was a reaction to the shocking spate of violence and crime in many cities around the world by young, desperate people. The song got its name from the tough neighborhood called Eglinton West in Toronto, Canada, also called Little Jamaica, but it was directly inspired by the unrest in England that saw large-scale violent riots in places like Birmingham and the Brixton riots of April 1981. The song was an ominous warning about the risks of bad government and injustice in society that was powered by Sly and Robbie's instrumentals setting the pace with the usual excellent drum and bass play, which possessed a hard and cinematic tone that was accompanied by a solid piano chord and guitar play by Mikey Chung, all creating an atmospheric quality that stays with you even long after the song ends. The next track, Spongy Reggae, which is one of the best known on that compilation, is a masterclass which I believe defines the expression modern reggae classic. Sly and Robbie didn't just throw in high-level traditional rhythms, but incorporated dub with an electronic fusion of the synthesizer to create a contemporary sound without watering down its reggae essence. It's an instrumental for the steppers to skank the night away, while Michael Rose's lyrics tells a universal story of suffering, self-doubt, and eventual self-belief. en route to eventual breakthrough. Some say I'm not Zuki crazy, they want I to leave the music alone. They say go and look for work, I and I are lazy, but I think for a while and say to myself, it's a time for every style. Personally, I rate Spongy Reggae and Bob Marley's Coming In From The Cold as two of my most inspirational songs of all time. The next track, Sistren, follows with the same trajectory of powerful instrumentals and lyrics that in this song celebrates Rasta women. Now the first track on the B-side of the album, Utterance, is probably my favorite from the entire compilation. This track kicks off with an explosive salvo from Sly, crisp response from Robbie's bass and Mikey Chung's guitar, all followed by the magnificent wailing of Michael Rose, in what I believe is his greatest ever vocal performance. Oh, what a joy to hear the utterance of a Rasta, a 3 minute and 46-second masterpiece that celebrates the journey of the Rasta man from the targeted, much reviled endangered species of the 50s to the cultural icons of the 1970s. Michael Rose's passionate growls and ad-libs riding the mesmerizing instrumentals make this one of the greatest reggae cuts of all time without a doubt. The next track, Puff She Puff, would feature the same formula of previous tracks, but had the boost of the wonderful ethereal chanting of Queen Puma Jones playing a big role. Her piercing vocals add to the haunting, timeless quality of the slow, heavy instrumentals. The last track, Carbine, was supposed to be the title track for the album, but was dropped at the last minute. A 6 minute and 7 second warning about the dangers of gun violence to all the bad man and rude boys back in Jamaica. The last minute of this track is simply a dub lover's dream that shows the true extent of Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare's genius. When Red hit the streets at the end of May 1981, it was celebrated with universal acclaim for its militancy, Rastafarian political essence, not to mention its exquisite instrumentals and production quality. And more than 4 decades after, it's still rated as an almost 10 over 10 piece of art. It's hailed unanimously as Black Uhuru's greatest work and was hailed for combining traditional roots reggae with cutting-edge studio equipment and effects that all came together in the most devastating way. It was rated as number 3 best album of that year across all genres by the NME magazine and was ranked in 2023 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. And it was also a roaring commercial success that made Black Uhuru true international stars. And to promote the album, they would go on a world tour alongside soul R&B band Kool and the Gang. In fact, Kool and the Gang was so blown away by Black Uhuru that they were inspired to do a reggae track of their own and would release the reggae-centric song Let's Go Dancing Ooh La La in 1982. The Red Album is believed to have marked the end of the golden age of reggae music, which began in 1968 and ended around 1983. A masterpiece of powerful artistry and excellent production, which has influenced countless artists ever since. It's impossible to name any one album as reggae's greatest, but Red definitely is up there in the conversation as the pinnacle of that genre's development. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.